What's up, everybody? This is Zen Viking, and I'm doing a little vid here, discussing some of the water concerns that I'm going to have in India. So a little bit of a background here on water. Well, maybe not water. Well, let's start with India. India, straight up, just does not have the sanitation that we have. In one article I read that they have more mobile phones in India than they have toilets. Yeah. And so their standard like tap water and stuff like that is not subject to the same type of astringent cleaning process that ours is. So now on to water. Water. There's several different things that can contaminate water. Some of the most common and most dealt with by backpackers and adventurers is bacteria protozoa. The bacteria protozoa are Giardia and whatnot, Cryptosporidium. I'm not super familiar with those diseases, but basically they're the cause for things like Montezuma's Revenge and Delhi Belly and all of these sorts of ailments. Basically, a whole lot of diarrhea, which can be really bad in a survival situation and just make your pilgrimage not very fun, if not life-threatening. But yeah, I really don't care to be stuck in a hotel room instead of seeing some awesome holy site all day, so I need clean water. Now, the normal solution for this as travelers is to just drink bottled water. Now, I'm sure I'll be drinking some bottled water, but you've already seen me rant about how much I hate bottled water, and I've already got all this gear anyways for cleaning water, and it hurt my pride a little bit, So just use bottled water. No, I'm just kidding. But, I'm sure I'll be drinking some bottled water, but I think it'd be nice to have something there that can help me out, that can, that I don't have to be so dependent on bottled water, to have a little bit of independence. So this is some of the options that I have along with me. Now, unfortunately, it is not just bacteria protozoa that I have to worry about. I did some reading that even viruses were found in some areas in Indian water, and that's bad. We don't have viruses even in our groundwater, just that you pick up out of a puddle here in the woods in the United States. So that's going to up my game a little bit. So basically, you've got kind of three ways of cleaning water. So what you're dealing with in water is you're dealing with potential contaminants in your water can include just dirt and grime, just particulates, just stuff, you know what I mean? Big stuff that you can see, cloudiness in the water, things like that. Bacteria, protozoa, virus, and toxins. Now, thankfully, toxins isn't something I necessarily have to worry about. There isn't known to be a whole lot of toxin levels in Indian tap water, which is mostly what I'm going to be contending with. Toxins include things like weird plant chemicals, of some type, poisons and things like that. It includes like gasoline, petroleum type products that could get into water in a disaster situation. So that's a whole nother thing right over there. Most of my system is used to dealing with grit and grime, bacteria, and protozoa. And where those three really excel, grit, grime, bacteria, protozoa, are these babies right here, is your filters. Now this is, I can open it up, I might open it up here in a minute, but maybe not. This is the Sawyer Squeeze, just so you know, it's not a rib stack. Sawyer Squeeze, and this one is the, what are they, Gravity Works? The Platypus Gravity Works, but they essentially have the same type of filter in them. This filter is a tiny, tiny tube with a whole bunch of holes in it that basically only allow water to go through, and they trap the bacteria and protozoa. And all the grime and grit. Ha ha ha. So this is what I usually roll with. Now there's other variants of this. There's ceramic filters and there's paper filters, but long story short, they're filters. They are some type of porous surface that allow water to come through but not other stuff. These are great for grit and grime. They're great for bacteria, protozoa. They work fantastic. The only downside with these is they need to be any kind of filter. A, can wear out because it'll just get junk stuck in the holes and it can't get it out. And B, it oftentimes needs to be backflushed to kind of wash that stuff out of there. But as you can see, it's a little bit bulky. You know, it kind of takes a lot of space. Part of the bulk is the containers that I need in order to keep, you know, everything sanitized. So it's not that much bulk, but it's a fair amount of bulk in comparison to my other options. So that's one of the first basic ways of cleaning water. The second is chemical treatment. Now, a lot of people don't like the idea of chemical treatment, and I'm one of them, because, you know, I just don't want to be taking in a whole bunch of chemicals. But also, more importantly for me, is the wait time. You know, when I put these water through these bad boys, you know, I'm sitting around maybe 5-10 minutes getting my water clean. These, on the other hand, like I like this. This is tincture of iodine, and this Aquamira. Aquamira is chlorine dioxide. And the chlorine dioxide works a little bit better. The chlorine dioxide is capable of killing viruses, so it does bacteria, protozoa, viruses. But here's another thing with chemicals is they don't do grit and grime. So you put this in your water, and you got grit and grime in your water. Grit and grime ain't going nowhere. So you'll need some kind of other filtering source, like a bandana, or, you know, over the neck of your bottle, or, you know, natural filters, or just straight up clean water. But like this here, iodine, this is tincture of iodine. Tincture of iodine doesn't do viruses, but when you're out camping, you know, hey, here in the United States, that ain't no big deal. But it works a lot quicker. You put 10 drops in your water, and half an hour later, you got clean water. The Aquamira, I have to mix these two chemicals together in this little cap here, and I have to let it sit for 5 minutes. And then I can put it in my water, and then half an hour later, I've got clean water. Now, here's another issue with both of these, is that in different environments, these can perform at a poorer rate. And in some environments, especially colder environments, it can take up to 4 hours to kill everything that needs to be killed. Whereas this one, as long as my filter isn't frozen up, it'll flow right through. So, you know, there's some advantages and disadvantages to every system. The last one, which I'll have to pull up my picture of here. The last one is the ultraviolet light. Now, there's two ways I can do ultraviolet light. I can either do it the man-made way or the natural way. If I take it the natural way, all I do is fill my container up here, make sure it's a clear container, and set that bitch in the sun for a couple hours and let the just natural ultraviolet light of the sun irradiate that water and just kill everything that's in it. Downside with this way of doing it is it's going to take some time, and I'm going to have to be in a fixed location in order to do that. This one over here is a product. There's a couple of UV products out there, but the most common one that people know about is called the SteriPen. And the SteriPen's nice because you just take this little light wand thing, you put it in the water, and you press the button and swish it around, and it just kills everything in the water. And as seen here, it can treat a single glass. It's real portable, real small, and it can treat a single glass in, 90 seconds? Half an hour. So if I'm sitting in a restaurant or something and I'm not, questioning the water, I can just go boop, 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 clean the water up, and it's no big deal. The downside with this one is I don't have one of these. I had an earlier model of this thing, and I just hated it. It really sucked for being out in the backwoods because the little water sensor wouldn't work if the water was a little bit cloudy, and sometimes I don't care if I'm drinking cloudy water. It just won't work. And then, on top of that, it would suck my batteries dry. You couldn't store batteries in it. It was fragile and wouldn't, turn on sometimes. And I just hated it. So I returned it. This model here is supposed to be a lot higher functioning. It runs on micro USB instead of on AA's or on CR123s, and so it'd be an option I would consider. But this thing's like $80, and I'm really trying to save my money to make this trip happen. So here's what you got to do. You start over here with the proverbial water. So the water's over here. What I need to do is I need to get the water out. Okay? And I can do that with some of these tools over here. Turn this back off. I can do this with some of these tools over here. This has got to be my favorite tool when camping, and this is a pump. There's a little pump in there, and you take that thing out and just throw one side in the water, one side either hooks up to your filtration system or just free floats into a bottle, and you just pump, 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 pump. The other thing I can do is get a dirty bottle or a cup and use that to spoon my water out and put it into my container. Disadvantage of the water bottle is you've got a whole dirty water bottle that you can't drink out of and can't use that's just floating around in your pack, and that kind of sucks. So the cup is a little bit better option for that, but the downside of the cup is the temptation to not clean it properly when you're done and then use it as a cup because you're like, oh look, I have a cup, I'm going to drink something. So there's some difficulty there. So you got to have some kind of transfer device of some type. You can just use your container you're going to drink out of, but 9 times out of 10 that's going to be a water bottle of some type, and it's going to have those threads, and those threads are just going to be saturated with that dirty water. So there's that. Then you're going to add your treatment, whatever it may be, whether it be solar radiation, chemical treatment, or filtering. And then it's going to be in your clean packaging. Now, for my purposes, this whole setup changes a little bit because I'm not pulling my water out of a creek. So I'm going to be pumping. I don't necessarily need to be pumping anything unless I am worried that I'm going to be away from a tap water source of some type, which I don't know if I will be. I think I'm probably not going to be next to a source like that. So, pardon me. I think if I'm away from civilization enough that I might need to get water, I'll probably just carry enough water with me because it said we're going to be near a lot of tap. I'm basically going to be in urbanized areas that just happen to have dirty water. So I don't need the pump, and I can eliminate that out of my system. Then I'm down between the dirty water bottle and the cup. And again, if I'm dealing with tap water, I'm not worried about like having to spoon things and things like that. And I really probably don't need the bulk of a water bottle, does it? I haven't used this one. This one's got the threads on the inside. That might be a awesome advantage. But a whole empty water bottle, especially when I might be moving, I could be moving around. Of course, then again, I won't be filtering or cleaning my water while I'm moving, but I might. But yeah, chances are that's out. Chances are I'll probably just have a little carry cup of some type, either a Sierra cup or a bottle cup of some type. And I'll probably just use that because we are going to have hand sanitizer and sanitizing wipes all the time, so that'd be really easy. It'd be a lot easier to clean up a cup of any type than to clean a water bottle. So that's probably something that I'll keep with me. And then again, unless I think that I'm going to be, pulling water out of like the ground, and I'm going to be at a tap water source, I'm going to have clear water. They filter the particulates out of the water. I mean, I've seen, at least I think so. I need to find out. I might be wrong. If we're getting cloudy water out of the tap, I might need a filter after all. But chances are, I'm thinking that the filter is out, which leaves me with one of two choices. My Kindle Fire, which is this symbol of the SteriPen or some similar type of ultraviolet tool, and the chemicals. SteriPen downside is either A, it's expensive and I'm going to buy that more expensive one, or B, unreliable because the cheaper models that are like half the price, in my experience, don't work really well. And they're a little bit more bulky too. But I'll have the advantage of being able to sanitize water anywhere I go all the time, and I won't have to carry a supply of water with me. I'll just be able to, like, boop, open up, fill my cup up, whatever, steri pen, drink it. Same thing with my water bottle. So this would be nice if I had, $80 just laying around willy-nilly, which I really don't. But, we'll see what happens. Maybe things will open up later on, and that'll become an option. So then I'm left with the old chemical treatment. Now, since I'm potentially dealing with viruses, tincture of iodine is out. So that leaves me with chlorine hydroxide or household bleach. I ain't afraid to drink bleach. I talked to a World War II soldier who was 88 years old, and they drank, bleach was how they treated their water all throughout the war. And I think if you do it, in the proper amounts and you don't overdo it, and it can be done safely. But I've also got my aqua mirror right here, and it's really, really proven to be safe. And this doesn't cost much. This costs about $14. So then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to have my bigger containers. There's a 4 liter, here's a 2 liter, and I'm going to fill these bad boys up probably in the hotel room the night before I'm going out, do my chemical treatment, bam bam, and then have a gallon and a half or 2 gallons of clean water that I can either carry several, like a Camelback or several water bottles with me, and carry between 2 to 4 liters of water with me, and then I'll have my water bottle that I'll go with as I go. And if I need more, then I'll either bring this with and chemical treat in the field, or do just water, bottled water. So yeah, these are some of the, and I got a couple of these bigger flexible water containers. I got this one, and then I have a Nalgene, and then I have a big old 2-gallon one, but it was leaking on me, and I'm not sure where the leak was coming from, so I need to check on that. But yeah, there's just a few of the tools that I'm going to be using and potentially using in my trip to India. Probably not this cup though. This is just a cup that I burn stuff in. Probably be a bottle cup, one of those bottle cups that fits underneath your Nalgene bottle. I like those. So yeah, I'm sitting here deliberating, but chances are this baby's going with me. This baby's going with me. So yeah, just a few little concerns there for you, and a little education for you there about water, about how to clean water. And another thing to mention is anytime you're cleaning water, this one last tip here. Anytime you're cleaning water outside, or in this case, not necessarily outside, when you're filling your water bottle up, all the water, and you treat it, all the water inside can be treated, and then the water on the threads here can be contaminated. So you got to be really careful. That's why it's really good to have something like a cup where you can control and pour the water in to make sure it goes in the center. Another thing you can do if you're chemical treating is you can take this thing and you can turn it upside down and let the water kind of dribble out through the threads, and then treat it that way, and then that way everything's treated. And same thing with these big tanks here. Same thing. The cool thing about the big tanks like this, though, is you tend not to drink directly out of them. So the water that comes out of them is a little bit disconnected from the water that's on the threads. Not that I wouldn't wipe the threads down anyways. That's another choice, is you can, if you have sanitizing wipes or if you have hand sanitizer, you can just wipe, that stuff into the threads in order to keep that clean. Yeah, there's a lot of, and then there's things like if you have I'll roll this back in. You'll see that I have this pump here, and the pump is in this one portion right here, and then the feed hose is in this other portion right here to keep one away from. What is that? Am I telling you the truth? No, no. The pump is in the plastic bag. So this is the clean side and the output. The pump and the output, and then this is the dirty side that goes in. I have the dirty side out because I know that the outside of it's going to be wet, and I want it to aerate in this mesh bag. But So just long story short, just keeping different parts of your system separated from each other, keeping your dirty bottle away from your clean bottle, and so on and so forth. Just that's where a lot of people can get sick, is by that cross contamination or through the threads on the bottle. Thankfully, I have never gotten sick, and I have learned this through other people's experiences instead of mine. But something to take into consideration. Okay, there's my last tip. I hope this video was interesting for you. I know it's interesting for me, trying to put this all together. Like I've said in some of my other videos, whereas in other environments, fire is really the make or break tool. In my environment, I really feel like the make or break tool is water, and the ability to clean and take care of that water is of utmost importance. And especially since I'm not going to be building any fires in India, most likely, but I'm going to be drinking water, and I'm willing to wager a lot of it. So it's nice to have something on board that's portable, and if I have it, fast acting. And to have all the tools there, and to be independent, and to be able to get through the trip safely and healthy, and having a fun time, instead of having the poops back in the hotel while everybody else is having fun. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Zen Viking, rocking out.